Ryan's a bad motherfucker. Me and him probably have very little in common. At graduation, we sat next to each other. And
he's Van Wilder, right?
I know that.
And so edit that out. And so
why?
I fucking hate it because everyone's
Did
always
they
like,
base that movie on you?
yes.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That movie was based on
That's
you.
what I'm saying.
So,
I thought you were being metaphoric.
The movie was based on him.
There was an article written about
Ryan Reynolds, that movie.
Yeah.
Did you block him on Instagram?
No, I'd love to fucking meet him. But I don't want to. Here's the thing.
Ryan Reynolds.
Here's my problem.
He played you. He played you.
Listen.
100%.
No, listen to me. In 1997, Rolling Stone magazine wrote an article about me calling me the number one party animal in the country. That got optioned into a movie and to make a movie. So a bunch of people submitted scripts. And one of those scripts, when the option went away, I signed a deal with Will Smith. Will Smith's like, yo, either he plays himself, you guys got to kill this option.
And then he wanted to have gay sex with you.
Yeah, he wanted to have gay sex with me. So the option goes away. Everyone takes their scripts, takes it other places. One of them takes it to National Lampoon. And they change my name, keep my friend's name in it, and then that becomes the movie Van Wilder. That is the legend.
Shit.
So I hear that, and then I go, and my agents, managers, they all wanted to sue when the movie came out. Ryan Reynolds had not really done anything. He'd been in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place up until then. So he wasn't like a star. It didn't have a big premiere. Didn't make any money in the theaters.
I saw that shit right when it came out. And I fucking loved it.
But it got really big on VHS.
So tell me about the real Van Wilder. I want to know, like, what did you do that Rolling Stone, like, what were you doing that Rolling Stone had to make a fucking, they wrote an article about you, right?
I was.
What did you do? Like, what was it? What separated you from every other college
not to
toot your own horn.
No, I'm not tooting any horn. First
real.
of all, I've been in college for 6.5 years.
Okay.
And so I knew everyone there. Like I knew
Were you actually going to classes?
Yeah.
So why were you how did you become this party god?
So what happened is Rolling Stone wanted to write an article about the school at first.
Okay.
And so they reached out to a bunch of people, like a couple presidents of organizations.
Okay.
And they said, we want a chaperone, someone to take us around and show us around. Do you have anyone that you, from your work? And the first 5 people he called all said my name. They all said, you got to go with Bert. You got to go with Bert. The last guy he called thought it was me pranking him. So he's like, oh yeah. And like really sold it. Bert's a fucking animal, man. He's the fucking machine. You're going to fucking love this guy. Oh, dude. And so the guy then called me.
And that guy went on to be a Simpsons character because he sounds exactly like that Simpsons guy.
Oh,
yeah.
So he gives that guy my phone number. That guy calls me. My buddy Blair answers the phone. I'm in the middle of a bong hit. And he goes, hey, it's Rolling Stone for you. And I was like, okay. So I'm in the middle of a bong hit. We're about to play disc golf. I was like, hello? And he was like, hey, my name's Eric Hedegaard. I've worked for ... And, I want to come spend a week with you. And then I exhaled at the end of his pitch. And he goes, were you just doing a bong hit? And I said, yeah, I'm playing disc golf in a little bit. And I was like, yeah, come down in November. I'll just call me when you get here. And I hung up. And the guy must have felt like he stepped in shit. He must have been like, this is the guy. So he goes down and I was like, yo, Rolling Stone's here. I didn't think it was going to be real. He showed up at my house. He's like, can I stay with you? I'll just follow you around for 5 days, 6 days. And I just fucking threw like the biggest party you'd ever could have imagined.
For that.
You're like, I was like, yo, I hit everyone
Rolling
up in
Stones magazine.
I was like, Rolling Stone's here. I'm going to throw a party. And so we threw a party that was like fucking epic.
What was epic about the party? What was the top two things?
Here's the thing that made me different at that time in my life was that I knew everyone from everywhere. So I knew everyone in every fraternity.
So this guy
I knew everyone in every sorority. I didn't have any, I just knew everyone. So when I said, hey, let's throw a party, I called like 4 or 5 people. We all lived in this big place called Indian Village by the Doak Campbell. And so everyone's like, okay, on it, we'll get kegs. And so now we all have houses, condos by the pool. It's SIGAP, SAE, Lambda Chi, ATO, KA, and we're all like the heads of our fraternities. And so all of a sudden it is the most insane rager you've ever fucking seen.
It's a Rolling Stone party.
Dude, yeah, and everyone's like, where's the Rolling Stone guy? They want to meet him, and if they meet him, they're like fucking acting up. And we just, and you know, this is the big thing. You know how you would, if like, normally if you were in college, you just wake up and maybe watch ESPN a couple times? Well, I had a guy with me with a pen and paper going like, what do we do next? So I'd be like, fuck it, let's, we go to a bar. It's like 8 a.m. morning. Let's see if we can get someone to open a bar. So someone would open a bar, we'd make wings, and we just partied our fucking dicks off. I mean, really partied our dicks off. And at the end of the thing, when we became really good friends, me and this guy Eric, the other thing he goes, what do you think's gonna happen to you? Like, how do I end this story? What's gonna happen to you? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'll probably end up selling carpets in East Georgia. He's like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do comedy. And he was like, you should. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So then they go home. This is supposed to be an article about Florida State. And I get a call and they're like, I think we're going to shift the focus of the article a little bit. Because it was really broad. We didn't really have a story about Florida State, but we have a really good story about you. Can we send a photographer down to take some pictures of you? And I was like, yeah, sure. When the article came out, it was me in the center, like ripping my shirt open in the fountain with a keg and a bunch of chicks. And the opening sentence was, it's taken Bert Kreischer 6.5 years to become the man he is today, which is the #1 partier at the #1 party school in the country. And it changed my life immediately.
Yeah.
Like immediately, like
Like what happened immediately?
television shows all started showing up in Tallahassee going, hey, we're going to say, we want to meet you. We want to meet you. Oprah called.
Girls were all like,
No, I had a girlfriend.
No?
Chris Winkie came up to me at a bar. He was starting quarterback for Florida State. And he's like, I read the article. Cool as shit, man. Let's get a beer. The offensive line was there. And they're like, we're partying with the fucking party animal.
Something's burning.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.